What is up? Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, I appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. There's a lot to get into. We have some injury news that's important leading into this preseason finale against the Las Vegas Raiders, and we have a very important Brandon Aiyuk update as well. We put an earlier Aiyuk update up on the channel. That video is popping off, and just like it's been over the last couple of months, this situation remains fluid, and there is new information pertaining to Aiyuk. Let's begin on the injury front with Ricky Pearsall. He will not practice this week, unfortunately, which means he will not suit up against the Las Vegas Raiders. So in turn, the 31st overall pick from April's 2024 NFL Draft will have not played a preseason snap as a rookie. That is not ideal news for San Francisco here, considering I think that they were going to be counting on him to be a part of this offense this upcoming season during his rookie campaign. So not a good start here for the rookie throughout training camp. He's dealt with the hamstring injury, started camp on the non-football injury list, was able to come back, didn't do much until he suffered a shoulder injury. And this is a complex offensive system that Kyle Shanahan is running. We know that Kyle Shanahan is very tight and runs a tight ship as far as rookies playing for him from the jump, whether it be on the offensive side of the football or the defensive side of the football, because he needs to know and make sure that those rookies are ready to go and they're not going to mess up, costing the team on any given play, any given down, any given game. And then when you think about the position that Ricky Pearsall plays, this Niners team is very deep at wide receiver. So is there going to be room for him to even get snaps as a rookie when he comes back, knowing he didn't play in any preseason games and was barely able to practice and partake in a lot of these team drills of late? There's that obvious acclimation period to the National Football League, and Ricky Pearsall hasn't had that acclimation period. So you wonder now what his rookie year will look like. Will he contribute, or will this be a redshirt year? Now, from the macro standpoint, I'm sure some people are worried about Ricky Pearsall being brittle, him being injury prone. The good news is at Arizona State and then at Florida after he transferred, injuries weren't a great concern. In 2019, played 13 games, no starts as a freshman. In 2020, 4 games, pandemic-shortened season, was not injured then. In 2021, 13 games, 11 starts. In 2022, 13 games, 10 starts. And then in 2023, 12 games, 12 starts. So he was not banged up at Arizona State or Florida. That's the good news. But the concerns from me in the pre-draft process, and I said this after the Niners drafted him as well, that stunner of a pick, 31st overall, when I thought there were bigger needs and better players left on the draft board, is that Pearsall is a little bit small. So I wasn't sure then, and I'm not sure now, how his body type is going to hold up and translate to the NFL level. And then there was a development from over the weekend, Sunday Night Football, at the wide receiver position with a fellow rookie alongside Ricky Pearsall. We haven't seen Pearsall. We saw Jacob Cowing, though. And he made his professional debut and did it with a bang. Made that really nice catch along the sideline. Good awareness along the sideline to know where he was. Had to slow up a little bit on that football from Josh Dobbs. It was a very well-thrown ball, if you noticed. Josh Dobbs kind of had to pump fake, and then he let it rip downfield, and it was right here for Jacob Cowing, who got hit as he caught that ball. He was able to contribute as a returner and brought some pop to the return game, and I actually thought the most impressive play that Jacob Cowing was able to make was the end around where he beat the edge, who was right here, to the sideline, then turned it upfield, and he turned that from garbage into gold, a 19-yard pickup. Jacob Cowing looks as though he could be a legitimate weapon for head coach Kyle Shanahan this year and be used inside, outside, gadget player, and a dynamic weapon in the return game. Other players returning to practice this week because Jacob Cowing returned to practice last week and put together a couple of really good practices. Running back Isaac Guerendo, we haven't seen him in a long time. He got injured, I believe, the first practice of training camp, another hamstring injury. He has had hamstring injuries all throughout his college career, going back to high school, some concerns there. And he's a speedster, a trackster, who keeps being held back by some hamstring ailments. Running back Patrick Taylor has missed some time. Not sure why. His injury has never really been disclosed. Spencer Burford broke his hand. He went out of the lineup. Dominic Pooney stepped in at right guard because of an injury also to John Feliciano. More on him coming up later here on the show. And Dominic Pooney now is not going to relinquish that job. He's going to be this team starting right guard week 1 against the New York Jets, but it's good to get some depth back in Burford because Feliciano is going to be out a little while. And then Ben Bartch returning to practice as well, a backup center and guard. Next, Talanoa Hufanga. Positive update on this front. He visited with his doctors last Thursday, and he got some good news from that visit. He will not return to practice this week, but Kyle Shanahan saying today on this Tuesday, August 20th of 2024, that there is a chance that Talanoa Hufanga returns week 1 against the New York Jets. And the safety position for San Francisco is certainly an interesting one. I think Jair Brown is due for a breakout year. George Odom traditionally has been a special teams player, but he has had a really good training camp as just a straight-up safety, making plays on the football, looking comfortable back there. Malik Mustafa, the rookie, 4th-round pick out of Wake Forest. He's physical. He's versatile. He has range. You can use him as a chess piece on that defense. I think he's a really intriguing player. So what are the Niners going to do week 1 at that safety spot? It's to be determined because of the health status of Talanoa Hufanga. And going back and circling back to John Feliciano, had to undergo surgery on his knee. The Niners did not release what type of knee injury he has been dealing with all throughout training camp. He will miss, though, about half the year. And Kyle Shanahan saying he probably starts the season on injured reserve. Before we continue to move forward and coming up next, another Brandon Aiyuk update. Niners-Raiders Friday night. I know it's the preseason, but San Francisco is expected to play their starters. And anytime the Niners and the Raiders, two Bay Area rivals who clash, when they do clash, it's always a lot of fun. And it's a rivalry inside the walls of Chat Sports. On yesterday's show, on the Niners Report, it's approaching 50,000 views. We picked up 142 new subscribers. The Raiders Report yesterday on Monday picked up 23 new subscribers. Hit that sub button right now. Let's beat the Raiders Report here at Chat Sports and on the field on Friday. Bang, bang, Niner gang, always faithful to the Bay. The Raiders, never faithful to the Bay. Coming up next, as I mentioned, another Brandon Aiyuk update from Adam Schefter. And then this afternoon, NFL insider Jordan Schultz with a very interesting report as it looks as though Aiyuk could be returning to the San Francisco 49ers. Our sponsor for today's show is Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it is just you against the numbers, and all you do is pick more or less on 2-6 player stat projections, and then you watch the winnings roll in. So get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. There is a great special throughout September. 1 Caleb Williams passing yard. Each game gets you 1 win on Prize Picks. Other selections that we like as far as football goes. Patrick Mahomes, less than 4,299.5 passing yards. Tyreek Hill, more than 1,375.5 passing yards. Saquon Barkley, I think he rushes for more than 1,000 yards. He's at 999.5. I like the more there. And then Garrett Wilson, more than 90.5 receptions. So download the app for free, create an account, head to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use the code CLNS for up to a $100 deposit match. As for that Brandon Aiyuk update, Adam Schefter shedding some light on what's going on with Aiyuk and what he expects might transpire this week. Is a decision looming? he said some interesting things, and then Jordan Schultz reported this on Tuesday afternoon. Sources: the 49ers and wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk had another meeting yesterday, and talks continue to progress on a long-term contract extension. There has been movement on a deal, but there are some minor details that still need to be ironed out with ownership approval. So let's stay here for a moment here, Chip. This really does sound a lot like Mike Garafolo's report last week. The Niners want Aiyuk. Aiyuk wants the Niners. If the Niners wanted to move on from Aiyuk, they probably would have traded him by now. If Aiyuk really wanted out, he would have forced the issue and he would have been traded somewhere else. But both sides are trying to continue their partnership here. They've agreed to a lot of the key elements of a contract extension, but they're trying to iron out a lot of the nuances and a lot of the finer print in this contract. Both sides want to win the negotiation. There's millions of dollars at stake. And as far as what they have to figure out, it could be guaranteed money, average annual value, signing bonus, guaranteed money at signing, overall guaranteed money, average annual value years. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Now let's go to Adam Schefter, who also said this on Tuesday. The 49ers know they need Brandon Aiyuk out there. He's made a lot of plays for them over time. He's had a great run, and they want to get that deal done. They've made multiple offers to try and keep him, but for whatever reason, that deal hasn't gotten done, and that has allowed other teams to enter the fray with trade conversations. Those other teams who have entered the fray, it's been New England, Aiyuk turned it down. Cleveland, Aiyuk turned it down. Commanders, dropped out of the race. It's really Pittsburgh or San Francisco. If another team enters the fold, I will be absolutely shocked. But the fact that this continues to linger is why we continue to have questions. What's going on? What's the holdup? And is there going to be a divorce? I don't think that's the case. I've said all offseason, I think Aiyuk returns to San Francisco somewhere in that $28 million per year range. But shoot, it might even be more at this point. More from Schefter on the Niners' number one wide receiver. I think we're at the point now where we're going to start to get a push here to see how this winds up, how it's resolved. And I think the 49ers would like to keep him, want to keep him. I still think that's the more likely scenario. But to think there's any likely scenario for this particular situation would be a mistake. And here we are, August 20th. Nothing is still done. And I just think everybody is at the point where they know they need to get a resolution, whatever that is. And I talked about this earlier here on the show. At some point, the Niners need to incorporate Brandon Aiyuk into this offense. He needs to start getting some live practice reps. He's not going to get any live game reps before week 1, but he knows this offensive system. He has a great rapport with Brock Purdy. They have developed a great on-field chemistry. Brandon Aiyuk is a perfect wide receiver for this system because of the complete route tree, him being a complete wide receiver, him being a willing blocker, but you can't replicate the physicality of an actual game. And the actual games are starting very soon. The second week of September is when the Niners take on the New York Jets. And you need to incorporate Aiyuk into this offense because he's a focal point of your offense. And if you don't have him, you need to start planning for that. As a reminder, what an offseason this has been. From Aiyuk's friend and his girlfriend throwing some comments out there that Aiyuk was going to play for the Raiders, that he was going to leave the Niners, from the tweet directly to Mike Tomlin, to all of the Instagram stories, the TikTok with Jaden Daniels, the trade request. It has been a wild, chaotic, arduous ride, a frustrating ride. And Brandon Aiyuk already requested that trade more than a month ago on July 16th. Where has time gone? Hopefully that timing leads to Aiyuk signing very, very soon. Be sure to give me a follow on X. Give me a follow on Instagram at Chase_Senior. In addition to the long-form content here on the Niners Report, a lot of short-form content and Niners thoughts on the social media pages.